Hello and good Friday. Thank you so much for spending a little time with us just before the weekend. A lot of basketball to be seen and a lot of indoor weather about to happen as temperatures are about to cool down. Certainly, we've known about that for days and only touching that briefly tonight because we've got a whole lot of other news to work in. And I'm actually already holding off news until next week. With that said, we do have coverage tonight of the Paintsville City Council meeting earlier this week, wrapping up coverage of yesterday's Magoffin County Fiscal Court session, as well as indictments returned by a sitting Johnson County grand jury. Several individuals from Johnson County, Magoffin County, and elsewhere indicted. I think 23 individuals charged altogether. In other news and information, a brief community calendar. Before I leave you tonight, and only a couple of other reports elsewhere. A tragedy has struck in the form of a murder-suicide in Pikeville. And we also understand that it has claimed the life of at least one U-Pike student. The only information that we have at this hour is that from Pikeville Public Safety Director Paul Maynard. He has released an official statement saying that 2 men did die from gunshot wounds on Main Street at a housing unit there. A housing unit more so occupied by osteopathic students within the Pikeville Medical School. The bodies were discovered last night. We also know that one of the 2 men was identified as a student at the University of Pikeville. The names have since been released. We know that Nicholas Hopkins, 36, from Florence, Kentucky, and a 22-year-old man from Independence, Kentucky, identified as Travis L. Thompson, were the deceased. Other information, of course, is still pending, but that is what we have at this hour. I just received an agenda from the Magoffin County Public Library of a special called meeting set for this coming Monday. The agenda includes an invitation to local officials as well as approval of minutes from the last meeting, open issues as Codell Construction will bring construction reports, and new business as is listed as the appraisal of the current library, closing of an escrow account, fiscal court issues, and a library construction report. That meeting is a special session once again set for 4 o'clock this Monday afternoon, and of course it is open to the public. The Paintsville City Council met in regular session earlier this week. A few tense moments at the beginning of the meeting. Some other business was also discussed, including the residents of Carter Lane still anxiously awaiting some sort of relief after a massive earth slide has caused them so much problems in that area, as well as other business we'll cover tonight. This meeting followed Friday's arraignment of Mayor Porter, former utilities manager Larry Harold, and Johnson County business owner Euless Crace, which appeared to have been referred to by the mayor after a vote to pay the bills for the city.
All in favor?
I vote yes with the bills as presented.
Opposed?
So you mean funds as presented?
As money
No,
comes.
as presented here in this package.
That's the only
Approving
thing.
what's, that's all I'm saying, is just approving what's in the package.
I know your insinuation is you're
No,
gonna
it's
sneak
not.
and do something, Jim, that you're
No.
not
Oh,
telling you
that's
about
not
it.
true. That's not true.
I'm a crook, and all that sort of thing, so you can take your insinuations and you know what you can do with them as far as
Well,
I'm concerned.
and that's not what he means.
That's not what it is, but
But-
I'm voting that way anyway.
It's just, it'd be too much of a discussion. If you want to discuss it with us, I'll be
Well,
glad to discuss it at
discuss it.
another time.
So do I need to make that motion again?
No, I think we got a
I just
motion.
want to know who
Good.
voted.
We voted no.
We have 2 voted
Both of you
no.
all voted, okay, that's fine.
Couple of announcements. First of all, I got a letter today that I was very impressed to receive from the Small Business Administration, and it was the announcement of a statewide award from one of our local businesses. Ms. Desiree Sloan Harmon of Club Fit Studios in Paintsville has won the Kentucky Woman-Owned Small Business of the Year.
Yay.
Congratulations, Desiree. There'll be some other things about that a little later on, but I was excited about that and wanted to mention it tonight. I just gotten up today.
In other business, Frankie Spencer, the Public Relations Director for Addiction Recovery and Repair, updated the City Council and the Mayor in regards to their programs, 4 residential programs in the area, as well as 14 outpatient programs, including the one on Broadway in Paintsville. He was there just to keep them up to date and informed on all of their services, which are considered to be faith-based counseling, And that was followed by a discussion of abandoned properties, a topic that has been revisited many times by the City Council and Mayor. This time, Jim Daniels, a resident of Bridge Street, was there to discuss a letter he had written stating his concerns about many vacant and abandoned properties and the dangers they present.
It is a public nuisance, okay? And that is against the law. And we do have laws already written, already done here in Paintsville to not force people to tear down. We can't make them do anything. I couldn't find a law that can make us do that. But I did find laws in place to where the owners of these properties could be fined on a daily basis for every violation. And I'm not trying to sound mean, I don't want to hurt anyone, but our property values have gone down because of this. I have had to call the police twice for squatters living in the homes. They have found makeshift beds, cotton balls, which usually is used for, drugs or whatever, but
Daniels noted the dangers of open basements and open cellars, the pests, the insects, termites that were attracted, rodents as well to these properties. He also cited local law as it is on the books currently, as it refers to any such structures having been in that condition for the period of at least 1 year and determined to be unsanitary, unsafe, unsightly, and dangerous to the public.
The city's adopted the International Property Maintenance Code, and the procedure that's required is when first of all, there has to be a determination by the city code official that there is a violation. I know Mr. Daniels has his opinion as to whether things are dangerous or whether they're unsanitary, but there has to be a determination by the code official that something is dangerous, unsafe, unsanitary, essentially presents a danger to public health and safety. When that determination is made, then the city has to give notice to the property owner of whatever problem it is and give them an opportunity to correct the problem. And then if they don't, then the city can take further action, including fixing the problem and getting a lien against the property if it can be done. But this is a lot of legal proceedings involved in that. They have a right to appeal, so it becomes a costly proposition to do. I mean, it's not as simple as saying, I don't like the way that house looks, we're going to tear it down. It's not that simple. You can't do that. There's a legal process, and it involves factual determinations on a lot of these things. Some property owners may not agree that their property is not fit for habitation and would contest it. But it has to be done on a case-by-case basis, starting with the city code official making a determination as to whether some basis exists to proceed against that property and do what you can do.
In the end, the mayor and the council said that they would move forward in addressing the situation. It was later noted in the meeting that they hope to be able to bring to a vote the bidding process next meeting for the sidewalk restoration project that's been ongoing for some time, a $175,000 grant that has been acquired through a great deal of effort to repair and restore sidewalks in the 3rd Street, Elm Street, Church, and West Street areas. They hope to let that out to bid at the next meeting in hopes of getting those sidewalks repaired as soon as possible thereafter. And in the final moments of the meeting, Mayor Porter gave some information to Carter Lane residents who have been anxiously awaiting some sort of input, as he says now the ball appears to be in FEMA's court in regards to the huge earth slide that has damaged, destroyed, or threatened so many of their homes.
If not, certainly we have some of our Carter Lane folks here this evening. Everything is in Atlanta with FEMA. As of last Tuesday, I believe, we're hopeful that within, possibly as early as within 30 days of last Tuesday, that we'll hear something back from them, and we're hopeful, and they were fairly encouraging. Is that correct?
I was told that everyone in the Atlanta office is aware of Carter Lane. So I don't think it'll lay on anybody's desk too long.
Regina, once Atlanta gets it, and if they approve it, does it go back to Frankfurt or?
Yeah, it comes back to Frankfurt, then they issue a contract with the city.
Oh, okay, so they don't have to re-vote again after Atlanta does?
No.
Okay.
No, he'll just have to accept the contract.
Okay.
You have to accept the contract from FEMA. once they award it, like you have on your other projects.
Okay.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Stand adjourned.
For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract, with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications. Residents in the southern part of Magoffin County still trying to get on the grid as far as water service is concerned. A check presented to a Magoffin County Fire Department for coal severance funds, actually 2 checks, and other items discussed in yesterday's regular session. As the Magoffin County Fiscal Court first dispersed some coal severance funds to the Middle Fork Volunteer Fire Department. A unanimous vote was taken to present a check for $19,500 to purchase a vehicle for the Middle Fork Volunteer Fire Department. The remainder of that $25,000 in coal severance funds, $5,500, being presented to the department directly in lieu of a check in that amount. The county entered into a bridge agreement with the state on an 80-20 cost share basis, if you will. The state has allotted enough money for the county to repair or replace 2 bridges in Magoffin County, one on McFarland Road and one on the right-hand fork of Oakley, with the state supplying $77,000 towards completing those projects. The Fiscal Court gave permission for the Civil War Reenactment Committee to let out for bids or advertise for bids for shelters to be placed at the Civil War Park on Route 7. Judge Harden made the motion that they would do so. All voted in favor, and he also made the notation that they would hold a groundbreaking for those shelters during the upcoming Civil War reenactment in April. They re-entered into their annual contract with the Lawrence County Humane Society. Avavy and Deaton presented the annual budget and plan of work for the Soil and Conservation District. And Rita Montgomery made a presentation to the Fiscal Court and the audience, asking specifically the court for their assistance in getting help with applying for funds to get water service to a great deal of residents in the far southern portion of Magoffin County.
I'm Rita Montgomery. Most of you probably remember me from last summer. I came on behalf of the families of South Magoffin that have been left off the water grid. We have about 100 families that are still left off of access to the Magoffin County water. There's not been any funding that's been available to get us water supply up there, but I wanted to come to the court today to ask if you could help with an application for abandoned mine land. It's a water supply assistance application. If you've been watching the news lately, the Department for Natural Resources, through their Division of Abandoned Mine Lands, have just recently released new funding that's available to areas that were ravaged by the coal mines pre-law mining, and that took place before the year 1974 to 1977. The minimum that used to be required to apply for this grant was about 500 families or homes. And since the funding has changed and been released, that number has been decreased to about 100 to 150 homes, which that's about exactly where we're at. And so the money is available, but we have to have a government office in our local county that applies for the assistance through the application for the water supply through abandoned mine lands.
Montgomery said the process would also require a letter of intent by the water board chairman to agree to supply water if the lines were there. It also requires a map of the affected area. She also documented some 15 or so different mining companies and or operations that operated in this portion or portions of Magoffin County during the time frame that the abandoned mines funds target, and after which Judge Harden made a motion to use either the county offices or those of the county water district offices as the agent for the process, either which would work better to suit the needs of the process. And just before adjourning, Jailer Brian Montgomery presented 2 letters to the court concerning his department's budget.
I have 2 letters. One is from me and one's from Judge Marshall concerning the jailer's budget. I wanted to give it to the court and my concerns with it. I also have one from the other judge for sure one, and the Jailers Association concerning the budget. It'll be here before the next meeting.
Sorry about that. Did you give a copy of the budget to? Anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you for your attendance.
While yesterday I covered the discussion centered around the Magoffin County Public Library Board, there were also two other things that we need to make mention of. Marlene Howard, the director of the Magoffin County Senior Citizen Center, was there to ask for assistance with their Meals on Wheels vehicle, which is in dire need of some repairs, delaying meals throughout much of the afternoon. There was also a moment where the fiscal court went into executive session on what was said to have been a personnel matter. They re-adjourned saying no action had been taken. Here's a brief look at your Magoffin County Farm Bureau community calendar. It might be, no, it's going to be a bit chilly. It's definitely going to be, so you'll want to dress the little kids accordingly and yourselves for all those who are going to be spectators and escorts. But the Easter egg hunt is still set from what I understand. This has been put together by the Prater United Methodist Church. 3 years and under, and then 4 to 7, and then 8 to 10-year-old groups. And it's going to be at the Ramey Park. It's going to be this Sunday afternoon, and it's going to be from 3 to 5. Every egg is a winner, either with candy or a prize or with some money. And they'll have some other big prizes as well. Once again, sponsored by the Prater United Methodist Church. The International Order of the Rainbow will also be assisting. If you have any questions between now and then, I've got a phone number, 349-2287. And lastly, for tonight, I've got a bunch of other announcements that'll pick up Monday, but the Magoffin County Retired Teachers Organization meets this coming Tuesday at 11 o'clock at Betty's Pizza. All retired teachers are encouraged to attend. And if you've got a birthday, anniversary, or a special announcement that needs attention on our community calendar, all you have to do is tell me. I'll tell everyone about it for free. Mail, email, Facebook, phone, fax, drop it off here at the newsroom. And while we are in the midst of an update, I guess you could say, of our website, we do have it back up in the prior format until we get it completely polished up. Just a few new additions to make. So you can catch programming the following day back online at yournewstoday.com. 32-year-old Jeremy Daniel Arnott of Royalton Road passed away yesterday, the son of Debbie Mullins Arnott and the late David Arnott. And besides his mother, he's survived by his wife, Trista Howard Arnott, son John Christopher, and daughters J.C. Lynn and Emily Danielle. Visitation is this evening, all day tomorrow, and prior to Sunday services, they'll start at 1 o'clock in his honor, all from the Magoffin County Funeral Home. And I've also learned of the passing of 74-year-old Lawrence Sumter of Old Burning Fork Road in Sagersville, who passed away yesterday. He's survived by a host of family and friends. Funeral services will be held in his honor this coming Monday at 11 o'clock at the Chapel of the Sagersville Funeral Home. Burial will follow in the Bluegrass Cemetery. For visitation, the family will welcome friends Sunday after 5 o'clock at any time prior to Monday's services that once again start at 11. In other headlines, altogether nearly 24 people indicted by the current Johnson County grand jury. These people were all indicted on a charge of promoting contraband in the first degree for introducing or bringing controlled substances into the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. They are as follows: 32-year-old Laura Davis of Warfield, Kentucky, 25-year-old Timothy Mosley of Minnie, 25-year-old Justin Arnott of Sagersville, and 39-year-old Shannon Jude of Louisa, all found to be allegedly and illegally in possession of a Schedule 4 controlled substance, alprazolam, while in the Big Sandy jail. As well, Jude and Arnott were also charged with being persistent felony offenders in the second degree. A total of 7 of the individuals were indicted on charges of flagrant non-support for failing to pay child support. Paul M. May, 26 of Paintsville, for failing to pay more than $8,000. He was also charged with being a persistent felony offender in the second degree. 35-year-old April May of Paintsville, failing to pay more than $2,000. 42-year-old Charles Hall of Beaver, for failing to pay more than $3,100. and 38-year-old Rory Laney of Paintsville for allegedly failing to pay more than $4,119 in child support. Pictures were unavailable at airtime of 25-year-old Ethan Centers of Louisa for failing to pay $2,369, as well as 43-year-old Demetrius Page of Cleveland, Ohio, owing more than $12,000, and 33-year-old Kenneth Casada of Marietta, Ohio, for failing to pay more than $13,000 in child support. 52-year-old William Gwynn of Paintsville was indicted on charges of manufacturing methamphetamine, first offense and in the first degree, as well as possession of a controlled substance and being a persistent felony offender. He was said to have been in possession of 2 or more precursors that make or help in the aid of manufacture of methamphetamine, as well as a quantity of the drug. He was also said to have unlawfully entered and remained in a structure without permission of the owner. 30-year-old John New of Warfield was indicted on a charge of assault in the first degree and being a persistent felony offender in the second degree. He's accused of assaulting a fellow inmate in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center, causing that person serious physical injury. Heather Cantrell, 39, from Flat Gap, was indicted on charges of trafficking in a controlled substance in the first degree for being in possession of more than 2 ounces or grams of methamphetamine, also possession with the intent to traffic, and being in possession of nearly 8 grams of methamphetamine and being a persistent felony offender in the second degree. 30-year-old Philip Webb of Redbush was indicted on charges of public intoxication with a controlled substance in the first degree and PI also with a controlled substance. He was also indicted on charges of possession of drug paraphernalia for allegedly being in possession of methamphetamine in a public place. He was also found to be in possession of syringes and digital scales. 30-year-old Joshua Stevens of Paintsville and 54-year-old Scott Clevenger, also from Paintsville but not shown here, were indicted on complicity charges of manufacturing methamphetamine after the two were allegedly discovered to be in possession of at least 2 or more of the chemicals or precursors and items of equipment that are used in the manufacture of meth. 47-year-old Charles Gamble of Sagersville was charged with first-degree promotion of contraband for allegedly being in possession of a Schedule III controlled substance identified as Suboxone while being incarcerated in the Big Sandy Regional Jail. And 42-year-old James Bailey of Lovely was also indicted, facing charges of promoting contraband in the first degree for allegedly being in possession of a working cell phone while he was incarcerated in the Big Sandy Detention Center. Another Paintsville man, 23-year-old Kenneth Sammons, was indicted on a charge of receiving stolen property over $500 for being in possession of a stolen set of wheels and tires, 4 22-inch tires and 5 22-inch black rims stolen from a Paintsville home worth over $500. And 18-year-old Jade E. Arnett of Sagersville was allegedly found to be in possession of a 2000 Ford Taurus that he's accused of stealing from a Flat Gap home. The car was valued at $2,000, and he was indicted on a charge of theft by unlawful taking over $500. And my apologies for the incorrect name at the bottom of the screen, but Jade Arnett was the picture, and the associated information is correct as well as far as his charges. And also indicted was 62-year-old Denise Trippy from Van Leer. Trippy was indicted on a charge of elder abuse or exploitation for exploiting a Paintsville resident of more than $30,000. And I'm a little more than out of time, so a very short and not so sweet Licking Valley RECC forecast. 68 and holding right now at the 6 o'clock hour, or about 6:30. Tonight, 38 for your low. Clouds will increase, and we'll see a slight chance of some sprinkles, really mainly after about 2 or 3 in the a.m. That sets us up for a wet one tomorrow. Rain before 1, then showers likely thereafter. Steady temperatures of around, I got a new adjusted daytime high right now in front of me of 43 degrees for tomorrow instead of 47. Winds out of the northwest from 3 to 9 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, a low of around 32, 33 degrees and a 10% chance of showers before 8. Sunday, 43 right now. It looks to be the daytime high we should be close to. We also have a chance of some rain and snow showers as well, as we'll be below that freezing mark for a period of time. 29 for Sunday night's low. 30% chance of some rain or snow. Still northwest winds around 5 to 9 miles per hour. We'll dry up and calm down for Monday, but we'll still be in the 40s. Good news is we've got 60s and 70s on the horizon thereafter. That's my time. Thank you for being a part of the show. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we hope to see you back here Monday night for more of your news today.